He just messaged me. Doo-doo. Got it. Might be just you and me.
Yeah, we can do that.
Absolutely.
So an old football team of mine won a barbecue show on Netflix.
Oh yeah, which one?
God, I'm trying to figure that out. Hold on.
Yep, he's out.
So people, you get to hear me talk a lot today.
And me too. All right, let's get the socials going.
Barbecue, not the barbecue. Hold on.
Get this going. I think we're streaming. We are streaming.
Barbecue, I think it's the barbecue showdown.
Oh. Do-do-do.
Yep. Yeah, barbecue showdown.
Make sure I post the right link. Last week I posted the wrong link. For some reason. Okay. That looks good. We will find out. Misspelled by B-Y, not B-R. It's only bad thing about the Stream Deck texts. You have to scroll it. Grr. Okay, let's go in here. Mastodon. Clear that out. It's still the same. All right, see if that works. Mastodon.
Not yet.
It should now.
And now.
Poosh.
It took a second there to get federated.
No, I just had sent it to Net Shortcut.
Yeah.
Let's do Facebook.
Apparently, this is the gray day.
Let's do Facebook. Touch. Come on. Very thick.
That is indeed who I am. Last time I checked.
Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Facebook, FaceTime, Facebook.
Yeah, we're gonna send it out to everybody's FaceTime.
Yep, that too. All right. Where's the notes? I think we're at 260. Yes, we are. 260. Double check. Yep. All right, I'm ready.
Me too.
Start some more recording here. Or I forget. To the cloud. And audio hijack. That looks good. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 260 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, and Apple Watch and Apple TV and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg. And we got Ben Rathick here today. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing good, Dave. Always happy to be here on a Thursday.
Yeah, happy to have you here. It's going to be a light show this week. Only Ben and I will be on the show. Jeff just finished his moving, so he's recovering from that. So good to good to hear that, and he'll be back next week, of course. But hey, we got the fair amount of news to talk about. It's kind of been a quiet week, you know. Everybody's talking about Vision Pro, and found some stories here, and we'll get through it, and some important beta and some important updates as well. So let's just jump right into the news for this week. First story, the Chrome browser on iOS is getting improved translation, Google Lens, and map features. Google did this week outline several new features available for the coming to the Chrome app on iPhone and iPad, including deeper integration with Google Maps, Google Calendar, and Google Lens. What a surprise. And Google Chrome iOS now uses AI to detect addresses on web pages and shows location directly on the mini version of the Google Maps app in Chrome. So there's no need to swap apps to see map-related information. So this is good to see. I think Google's finally adopting some more things onto iOS, and people still use it. I don't use the Google Chrome app too often. Do you?
Only when it has a feature that apparently only works with Chrome. But for those who are Mac users and iPhone users, and basically those within the Chrome or the Google ecosystem, this is definitely a nice little update.
Yeah, it is nice. So, hey, it doesn't hurt to download it and install it. I've got Google Chrome. I use Microsoft Edge. I use that for work a little bit, as well as so having an alternate browser doesn't hurt. I know we all pretty much live in Safari for the most part when we browse, but it's good that Apple does open it up so other browsers can be used. So, speaking of Apple again here, Apple Podcasts app was updated with some enhanced search functionality. This week, Apple announced that it enhanced the search functionality across the iPhone, the iPad, the Mac, and the Apple TV by adding 9 additional subcategories in the search tab. This makes it easier to discover new shows across various genres and topics. The new subcategories are mental health, relationships, self-improvement, personal journals, entrepreneurship, documentary, parenting, books, and language learning. They are available now, and there's no need for any software update. So each subcategory is going to have its own charts, which will display the top shows and top episodes available for each of those categories. So it's good to see that they're looking into mixing in some of this stuff. I'm not a huge fan of Apple Podcasts. I mean, I use it once in a while, but Pocket Cast is more my podcast catcher of choice. So what do you think? What do you think, Ben?
I am one of those who uses the Apple Podcasts app. With the app, it's gotten to the point where there are so many podcasts where it's a lot of information overload. So anything Apple can do to narrow it down, so those searching for a specific type of podcast can find what they want.
Yeah, that's the goal of it. We want to be found. Everybody else wants to be found. So, Apple Podcasts is actually probably, I should say, it's the number one podcatcher used for this show. So, I think that's pretty common. That's not surprising, being this is an Apple-centric podcast. So, yeah, just check out those new categories. You might find some interesting things that you'd like to listen to. The next story is the Apple self-service repair service. They have now expanded that. We've talked about this many times. They're now finally allowing you to self-repair some of your devices. Not that I don't know why you would want to do that in some cases, but Apple did expand self-service repairs for the iPhone 14, the M2 Max, and system configurations and more changes. This was a major expansion. This week, as we record, the self-service program will be available for those line items I just said, including the MacBook Air M2 13-inch MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro M2 Pro and M2 Max. It's also making updates to the system configuration process, which is a key aspect to the iPhone repairs. They announced this in their news post in the newsroom this week, that system configuration post-process repair tool for iPhone repairs is things like batteries, cameras, and displays. And you'll be able to run this like a repair after repair to do authentication that there are genuinely Apple parts, updated firmware, and calibration. So this is great to see that they're adding all these to the lineup. Still doing iPhone 12, iPhone 13, and its expansion into the US, Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, Sweden, and the UK. And then Apple does tout that they have nearly doubled the number of service locations with access to genuine Apple parts, tools, and training over the last 3 years. That's good to see. They got a bunch of numbers here, but I'm not one to want to dabble in this. I mean, I just really don't want to do a repair of any device really at this point. I used to tear apart laptops in my day, and even replacing keyboards on Dell laptops is such a pain that I'd rather at work we pay for them to fix it. Let them do it.
Yeah. I'm fully certified to fix these type of computers.
Oh, that's right. You worked with the Geek Squad years ago.
Yes. That said, the older I get, the less I want to do it myself.
Exactly.
And to be quite honest, it's not a whole lot. You're not saving a whole lot of money.
Not really. We compared that before on previous shows when this first was introduced. That it was very minimal, if not more in some cases.
Yeah.
So
if you're not right next to an Apple store, you can usually call up Apple, get a box, and have it shipped back to you fully repaired within a couple days.
Exactly. And I've done that plenty of times.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
Nah, it really isn't. So, but hey, if you want to do it, it's there. Have at it. And next story, Apple App Store rolling out new ad format visible. That was this week. It's on the Today tab without scrolling. They announced that they're officially rolling out this new ad format on the App Store. The new Today tab format is more compact than the previous full height card design, and it's viewable immediately upon opening the tab on the iPhone. Previous design required you to scroll the page to get to it. a non-sponsored slot continues to take its first position, but and then the ad placement is always now above the fold. So that again, Apple's looking and experimenting through different advertising methods, and this no surprise here that they did this, and they debuted this format last year, and then now they just made some changes to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm no big fan of seeing ads in my app
No.
store, but
Yeah,
at least they're
but
smaller ads.
they're ads more so with advertising apps than there is like,
Mhm.
I'm going to go buy a Coke. So, but no, it's good to see it's not as intrusive.
Yeah.
This story was interesting. I found Apple's Music hidden social network is basic but great for discovery. Apple Music isn't known for being a social network, and they did try it 10 years ago, if I remember, that thing called iTunes Ping. But despite not having a clever name, Apple Music has some wonderful social features that they've grown to enjoy. Maybe then we just take it for granted. How do you take advantage of that? Well, you follow somebody on Apple Music, and you go from there about what different music there is. Whereas Ping tried to do too much.
Mhm.
Apple even removed the Apple Music Connect feature to even simplify it. So yeah, I'm following a bunch of friends. I think I follow you on Apple Music, Ben, and I don't know if I think you follow me as well. But it's interesting to see people's different tastes in music. And our
Yeah.
friend Chuck Joyner, you and Chuck are both the big metal heads, so you got some
Oh, yeah.
good music choices there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think there's a Kelly alternative playlist somewhere in there.
there is. Yep, I was poking through there. So why not? You got friends out there that check them out, and most people are public with their playlists. You just friend them. They're not necessarily may not friend you. Like in the
Mhm.
article here, they're showing Federico Vitucci, Jason Snell, Eddie Q. Eddie Q. I don't know about that really is him or not, but
Yeah,
uh,
I don't think Eddie Q's following any of us.
no, or if he, I don't know if he even, or maybe he is doing it just to show a thing.
Mhm.
So interesting to see. And you can make your list private if you so wish, and then only invite people that you want to share it with. So it's a good way good way for discovery with friends, and keep it private if you want to. Good stuff. This story was kind of funny, and I thought I'd share it this week. This was a fiberglass cattle rustler foiled by a strategically placed AirTag. This was a Texas restaurant. It recovered its beloved 6-foot tall, 150-pound fiberglass bull statue thanks to a well-placed Apple AirTag. The statue, called Manolo, sat outside San Antonio's Taco Don Manolito. The bull has been there since January of this year, and it was chained to a bench that was cemented to the ground. The owner assumed that no one would be bold enough to try to steal such a large object, but apparently someone did. But the thieves didn't anticipate that they had placed an AirTag inside Manolo, just in case. And then he checked the AirTag, and sure enough, finally learned that it was relocated in a south town near 20 miles from the restaurant. And they said they were saying they bought it from someone. Okay, sure. I like to hear these stories of AirTag and doing those things to catch people from being stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather hear these stories of the way AirTags are intended to be used than the stories of AirTags being used by someone stupid.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stupid people out there.
Yeah. But I mean, this is how I use my AirTags. But I mean, we do have the usual disclaimer. If you have them, please don't stalk people.
Yes, that's the big thing. Please don't. And then last story we have this week, AirPlay is coming to hotel TVs, which of course we talked about during the WWDC coverage. They have Apple indeed has a partnership with LG. So LG and Apple have partnered up here, and like I said, we knew this was coming, and this is great to see. They've already jumped on this, and so LG is going to bring the feature to its hotel lineup in 2023 this year. And of course, we know AirPlay is a convenient feature that lets users cast content from their iPhone, their iPad, or Mac to another product like a TV, and this system is being implemented in upcoming hotel TVs, and LG is at the forefront. And they sent out a press release on this that they would be bringing it, and they would be among the leaders in room hotel TVs, which I tend to see more LG TVs in hotels than I seem to remember. So, but this is really a big and major advancement for in-room entertainment, and it underscores what people want. They don't want to have to pay $20 for a movie through the hotel's horrible pay-per-view, and be able to stream whatever they want. And hotels know that. They all know that. It's a big change. So.
Yeah, I had been kind of wondering how this would be handled, and that was pretty well explained here. Like you said, LG is the leader, or one of the leaders, if not the leader, in commercial televisions.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll see what happens. And if next time you travel, you might be able to use this soon. So it's coming. Let's go to topics this week. First off, before we talk about beta, I wanted to talk about iOS 16.5.1. That was released yesterday as we record this, and it has some huge security fixes. Notably, which we talked about and were perplexed of why it happened, was that dastardly camera adapter that you plugged in and didn't work when 16.5 came out. But there is some big kernel vulnerabilities that can run arbitrary code and be bad. And there's also a WebKit vulnerability that could allow malicious crafted web content to execute code. So you need to run updates. It's on all the devices. It's iOS 16, iPad OS 16.5, Mac OS Ventura, and Watch OS 9. Even older devices. I mean, Apple patched everything. I mean, you go back to iOS 15.7.7, iPad OS 15.7.7, even Watch OS 8.8.1, and you got both Monterey and Big Sur that were also updated. So good to see Apple's being responsible for this when it comes to that.
Yeah, if you're watching live, start updating your device now.
Yes, please do it.
Yeah, yes. If you're watching it later, you can pause us. This is more important.
Yeah, yes, please do it, because and like I said, it actually says in the update notes right off the bat, Apple just noted it right away, which I was actually impressed, because they admitted that adapter was really indeed screwed up and not being able to work. Is that camera adapter lightning to USB that fixed this as well. So yeah, update all your devices. I did every single one of them. I know you did too, Ben. And make sure you're taking care of that. So and then there's still beta for 16. 16.6.3 was released. That's the third public beta for that. And of course, which that I'm assuming that already fixed it when you're in here. It's a minor update, and it seems it's laying the groundwork to launch that iMessage contact key verification feature. And so I guess they're going to slow this down as iOS 17 is progressing, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I don't know. It's always strange to see them still beta testing a now old version, because you want to put the focus on the next version.
But you have to finish the version that's currently out before.
So I guess
to keep the next one.
Yeah, to keep it current. It's going to be definitely interesting to see where that goes. So, other thing that was super exciting actually was Vision OS beta was released for the very first time. And what that means is, no, you don't have a device to try it on, but you do have a developer. If you have a developer account, you actually can go and download the SDK, software development kit, that will allow you to have, this allows third-party developers to start building apps for the Vision Pro headset. And it can be accessed through Xcode 15 beta 2. And the developers aren't going to have the access to, like I said, to a live headset, but it's just going to give you some simulations of what to expect. Already, some of the websites like Mac Rumors and others have already put out videos. This was just announced yesterday as we were recording this, so that wouldn't waste any time getting installed and getting out videos to show people. But it looks really cool. I don't know if you think you'll dabble in this? Try it out?
Probably not.
Yeah.
but I'll definitely be watching the larger media sites on this,
Oh, absolutely.
especially since I believe Apple has said the SD or the developer kit announcements coming up soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. For sure. Um, so I think it's really cool. We got some links in here that talks about it, and they have some good details, being able to show you what's what with this, and yeah, check out the videos. Not
Mhm.
something we have done here, but I want to make sure everybody's checking it out. So get kind of excited about it, but I don't know if anybody's going to get too terribly excited since it is $3,500 to, to purchase, unless you're saving your pennies for that.
Yeah, I'd be excited that I could afford that.
Yeah, then there's that. And then we move on to iOS 17, iPad OS 17. That was released out to developers, beta 2. It is out, and there's so many different features that they've been talking about that's being added. And A couple things that they say is customized look for each person that calls. We've talked about this. You know, the voice, you can filter out your voicemail so you can decide if you want to answer it or not. And Messages app has been tucked away into an interface for a cleaner look. There's a check-in feature designed to let your friends and family keep an eye. So we've talked a lot about this stuff. And they also have this that service standby on an iPhone, placed horizontally, lets you put it into a little home hub. So it's, everybody wants that stand that they showed on the keynote. Uh, so and of course we talked about the journaling app, and so there's lots of stuff that's in there. Have you've installed it on your device, I assume?
Oh yes, I had installed it yesterday while I was actually waiting for my sister and my niece and nephews to get their haircut.
So what do you think so far? What does beta 2 add that you've seen so far?
A lot of widgets.
Yeah, I think that widgets is a big thing now.
Yeah, I mean, I since installing the beta, in a lot of ways, I have completely changed the way that I used iOS.
Mhm.
Before it came, I had a lot of apps on the home screen. Now I just mainly use the widgets since they're actionable. And if I need to go into the app, well, the widget takes you right into the app.
Right.
And if you need to search for an app, well, you have the app drawer for that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Other things they talked about, that they did update the screen. So this is technically a feature from the first beta, but the update screen now shows more information about beta software,
Mhm.
including details about joining the beta program, backing up before you install beta, and so on and so forth. Because you now can get a beta account and not be the public beta and not have to pay for it. You're just not going to be able to, of course, publish apps unless you're a true developer.
Yeah. That
Uh,
said, don't.
yeah, don't do it. Leave it to us professionals. Uh, App tips were added, so the various Apple designed apps are utilizing a tips feature that provides details about their functionality.
Mhm.
Like in the Message app, for example, there's a tip about sending a message by talking instead of typing with S Lady. Uh, and and when airdropping, there's the suggestion to hold the phone near another phone, so if you don't see people nearby. The location settings of the privacy options now have a more micro location option. And of course, Apple hasn't explained what this is yet, but it is there to really, so they're really good. It looks like they're going down for micro location, because everybody is always likes to not share the
Yeah.
location in a lot of cases. Um, the messages check-in that we talked about earlier, Apple's changed the wording of the data. So that's what beta software is. They're changing things. They didn't like the way it was worded the first beta, so let's make a change to it. Uh, in the music app, they're doing an activating crossfade for Apple Music settings in the settings app, and it no longer crashes the settings app. So I don't know if you saw that, but so we talked about standby, and then as you said, tons of widgets. all crazy stuff. So there's just more and more. We'll keep talking about this because there's going to be continue on of stuff that's coming out here. There and also they did seed out TVOS 17. Nothing really much to have attention to in the update. Just the cool thing of having the ability to be able to have FaceTime calls now and
Yeah.
using your iPhone as a camera. And I'll correct ourselves from last week. You have to have the 4K version of the
Correct.
Apple TV. You cannot have the HD version. So even I think even if it's the older 4K and then the newest 4K, I believe will work. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
Well, actually,
is it just the 2020, 2022, 2023 4K?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I have the 2022s here. I have not been able to install it on the original 4K yet.
Okay. I got this one right here. I haven't need to try it because I haven't.
Yeah.
Haven't
Yeah.
tried it.
It has this bug where I try to upgrade from TVOS 16.
Mhm.
It says it installs and then it comes back and it's iOS 16 again.
Go figure.
So I have to figure that out. But I can say I have tried it with the 22 model.
Okay.
And between this and the other interface changes in tvOS 17, this is a winner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is. I said last week, and that's what the show was last week. We focus on home. This is the biggest update on tvOS probably ever.
Yeah,
it really is. So it's going to be great to see when it's out live, see what everybody else thinks. So, and then WatchOS 10, that beta 2 came out as well. You can go and update that as well. And to install the update, the developers will actually need to open up the Apple Watch app, go into the software update section under General in Settings, and toggle the WatchOS 10 developer beta. But this is something new because you actually had to, I believe you had to sideload it before you had to actually connect it, and in the past, I don't do beta on Apple Watch, so
yeah. In the past, you had to have a profile.
a profile. That's it. Profile.
Yeah.
The profile configuration. Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it late, about midway through WatchOS 9, as they did with iOS 16. But it's a lot easier now.
Yeah. You have it on your watch?
Yep.
And you like that's the other thing they did a great thing with is the full screen interface now, and it's really slick.
I'm trying to.
Ben's showing it on the camera. Yeah, you can't drag up.
There we go.
You got to push the side button, right, to get the.
There's the little mini widgets.
There you go. So you got mini widgets on there, and then you can access the widget stack from any watch face using the digital crown, and you get the relevant information. Like I said, now that the control center is accessible with the side button as opposed to, I'm still used to it. Just swipe up to get to the, and I got to find my phone. So they did that. And of course the watch faces and the cycling and hiking workouts and all that fun stuff. So right now that's limited to developers only at this time. So it's the public beta won't come out. And again, don't install beta on a watch unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Do not be an idiot like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have over a decade of experience of being an idiot. So
yeah, well,
I know what I'm getting into.
What the heck, right?
Yeah.
So good stuff on that. And then some new finds on iOS. They're just every week I'm seeing stories about stuff that people are finding as an addition to what we look for. And iOS 17 and Mac OS Sonoma will add passkey support to your Apple ID, which is pretty awesome. Can't wait to start trying that. Have you tried that out?
I've tried to, but Apple, when you try to log into an Apple website on your Apple device, already goes into something very akin to a passkey.
Mm-hmm.
So that haven't quite worked out on it. But when you have Apple and Google into passkeys this heavily already, this is the future.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no question. If just to refresh everybody, with starting with iOS 17, iPad OS 17, and Mac OS Sonoma, users with an Apple ID will automatically be assigned a passkey, allowing them to sign into their Apple ID with Face ID or Touch ID instead of their password on various Apple sign-in pages, including iCloud.com and Apple ID.com, Apple ID Apple.com, and so on and so forth. And as what passkeys are, just to make sure everybody remembers what they are. Apple has explained it in this way. It said it's a passkey is a cryptographic entity that is not visible to you. It is used in place of a password. A passkey consists of a key pair, which, compared to a password, profoundly improves security. One key is public, registered with the website or app you're using. The other key is private, held by only by your devices. And passkey support is going to for Apple IDs will also be available for third-party apps, which is awesome. So they're letting others use this to make life easy. So this is pretty cool that this is now out there for people to check out. Yeah, there also was in iOS 17. They were letting Siri users play media on the HomePad using iPhone apps. HomePod users, and Jeff's going to just love this. I know that. That users can listen to songs with not only Apple Music, but with third-party services like Pandora, Deezer, iHeartRadio. But however, the list of apps compatible with HomePod is really small, but Apple is trying to change this. So starting with iOS 17, you'll be able to ask Siri to play media on the HomePod using apps installed on their iPhone and iPad. So they did tease this in WWDC 2023 session. So it's something that's going to be interesting to see what they do. The other thing too is going to have some improvement with AirPlay, which I'll look forward to that as well. And as we know, that Siri is no longer going to allow you to use the "Hey," when it comes to that. I'm going to be definitely interested to see where that goes and when people do that.
Actually, Dave, that is incorrect. It allows you to use either or.
Oh, you can't change it. Okay, so
yes,
so it's giving you the option to turn it off.
Yeah,
I thought that they were getting rid of it completely.
That was my bad. They have 3 different settings. One's off. The other one is "Hey S Lady," and the third one is "S Lady" or "Hey S Lady."
Okay, so just like Amazon, really, because A lady can be "Hey computer" or "Computer."
Computer, hello computer.
Yeah, so they definitely could do that. So, so that's definitely gonna be some great changes. We're looking forward to it. We'll keep reporting on them, and we can't wait to get our hands on this in the wild when it comes out in the fall. But we'll keep talking about it here. That's what we do. And everything that's now in the CarPlay on iOS 17, I was excited to hear about that, especially the fact that you have SharePlay in the music app. So now your passengers can use SharePlay with their phones and be able to play their music if they so wish on CarPlay while you're in a car, which I think is great.
Yeah, which means they can play their music while I'm using my navigation, which is the preferred option.
Exactly. So as long as the car owner has Apple Music subscription and initiates a SharePlay session from CarPlay, the other people in the car can choose the music to play. Each person can scan a QR code generated by the main user to get access to the playlist and add songs to the in-car Apple Music queue. Make it a good session. Only the person who starts the SharePlay session will has to have the Apple Music subscription. So everybody else can do it without paying. Other thing with CarPlay they're adding is EV charging station improvements. If you have an EV, Apple Maps app will now provide real-time charging availability for the charging networks that you're compatible with your car. That'll make it easier for people to find support for the EV. I don't have an EV, nor I don't know you do either, so that's something we would probably be doing too much. The Messages app now has a revamped interface that allows you to quickly reply and reread a message without taking too much attention away from the road. What a concept.
Oh yeah.
And then wallpapers, of course, you got to make it more pretty. And then of course the new all new CarPlay experience as cars are starting to introduce that, which Apple showed this earlier this year, having a full out CarPlay experience in your dashboard on these newer cars. It's going to be a while before you see that
Yes.
on these cars.
But if anybody wants to send me a car with the full CarPlay experience to test out,
for test out,
I would definitely do it for journalistic reasons.
Yeah. So far, the cars that are going to support next generation CarPlay is going to be Acura, Audi, not GM, Ford, Honda, Jaguar, Land Rover, Mercedes-Benz, Nissan, Porsche, and Volvo. I don't see any mention of Dodge or of Avantis cars. Stellantis, excuse me.
Yeah.
Tongue-tied there.
Yeah, also known as Peugeot, Fiat, and Chrysler.
Yeah, Chrysler. With all their EVs that are coming here. So I'll be excited to see how that is. I haven't tried CarPlay with my beta. I should. I haven't done that yet. So I gotta check that out to see what's up, what's what with that. So it's gonna be interesting. So got some tips here. We're gonna go through in some things that are happening, and probably gonna wrap up a little earlier this week on the show. But I wanted to talk about a few of these things here. One of them is how to turn off iCloud's default settings in Mac OS and iOS. Would you ever do this, Ben? This is when you get an iOS device, all the iCloud options are always on by default. But if you want to be able to change them, if you don't necessarily want the cloud to be connected for everything, the push, of course, towards cloud services is continuing. And iCloud is Apple's cloud offering, which is going to allow you to sync info and documents to its cloud service. When you purchase a new Apple device, most cloud settings are on by default. So you can actually go through here and then the way you do that is you go into your settings and then you look for your account. That's the first thing at the top there, and then that springboard will bring you into the settings app, and then you can go into your Apple ID and password, log into your account, and then once it brings you to that, you go to iCloud. And then it provides the whole list of stuff. So there's some things you don't, maybe you don't use iCloud Mail. Maybe you don't want your contacts. Maybe you sync contacts with Google instead. That's what gives you the option. Same thing with calendars, reminders. Sometimes people don't want to sync their photos. You don't have to sync your photos, but not a bad idea, especially you take a lot of pictures on your iPhone. You probably will want to keep that on. But also depends on how much space you have in iCloud, because if the 5 gigabyte plan isn't going to cut it, especially you take about 10 pictures and you're done. So, and then the video. Yeah, exactly. Especially if it's 4K. And then the settings on for iCloud on the iPad are very similar, with just some minor differences. Namely, that the apps list is visible in the main iCloud section with a show all button. And you can go in and change the media purchases and show all for that and go through all those settings too. On the Mac, very similar. You just go into that and change things and go through and make that change. One thing they mentioned about on Mac OS, I didn't know this. This is kind of, they call it a gotcha, is the iCloud settings is usually unnoticed in the desktop and documents folder button in the iCloud Drive section. This really should not be under a Finder row in the app section along with other apps, but it's not. So it's buried away so people won't even bother to look at it, and you probably should. So we're warning you for that. So it's a good to be aware of it and knowing how to do that. So other thing I want to talk about a little bit, we didn't hit upon this. There was a lot of new things that were added to Apple Arcade. Arcade launched with close to 100 titles, and the service is seeing new games added regularly. It's got over 200 games now in the library. Any games you play in Apple Arcade that you like?
Absolutely. Apple is always up to date on the NBA 2K series. Yep. They have the Plus version of all the good Game Loft games, including Asphalt 8, which is one of my favorite racing games of all time.
Okay. On
any platform. They have 2 Oceanhorn games. They have Fantasian, which was made by kind of a offshoot of the Square team that made Final Fantasy.
Okay.
There's for the light fare, You get your solitaire and other card games with no ads.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. It's Xbox Game Pass. It is not,
Yeah.
but it has some good stuff.
Yeah, they're this article is talking of a few apps, a few games like Jet Dragon. It lets your players step through space and time into the world of Venerus US, where dragon racers soar the skies. I'm not much of
Gee,
a
I wonder what
gamer,
that
so
was. I
I don't
wonder
see
what
that
that
too.
was inspired by.
Yeah. Um, and then back in May, they had a whole slew of other games in here that were released, including a lot of Disney
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, that
Anything
Ninja
notable there?
Turtles one looks good.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles is always a crowd pleaser. So that's interesting. Then you got Grand Mountain Adventure Plus. Uh, get ready to explore the vast open world mountains of ski resorts in a skiing snowboarding adventure.
Yes. And if that doesn't float your boat, you can always go to the Oregon Trail and have both your oxen and your family die of malaria.
There you go. The Oregon Trail is the best. Even Doctor Who. There's a Doctor Who app. Doctor Who: An Unlikely Heist. It's an official Doctor Who game that brings a thrilling news story and challenging puzzle gameplay into an epic adventure across time and space. This
I'm
one's
looking.
cool. This was released too. Is the Clue, the classic mystery game. I loved Clue. Playing that
Mhm.
when I was younger. The board game. Colonel Mustard did it with the candlestick in the hall.
Yes.
So that's the original Hasbro Parker Brothers. Come on, uh, game that was adapted for iPhone and iPad. So yeah, it's good to see that Apple's doing this, and it's not terribly expensive. It's like what, $5 a month or something, if you like the,
Yeah.
I think it's something like that, and it's included in the Apple One bundles. So
Mhm.
and yeah, this, you to take a look in this article. There's a ton more of cool games that are out there. Yeah, I know you're a big gamer, so this good good to hear that you like this stuff.
Yeah, I would like to see a Apple Arcade Plus with some AAA stuff, but this will definitely tide your kids over if you have kids.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I play solitaire, and actually the solitaire game in the Apple Arcade is pretty. It's probably one of the better ones.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I play the Microsoft one all the time. It gets boring. You gotta have
Mhm.
fun with that. So
Oh yeah.
um,
Hey, there's a SpongeBob Solitaire.
there you go. I should play that. Got to check that out. Couple more tips here. One are something that was released this week. OneNote. I like OneNote. I've used OneNote on since I work in the enterprise business. OneNote's very popular in the business world. So they have now on iOS is going to get a big boost for organizing notes. They're doing this test with OneNote for on the Home tab experience for iPhone users. This feature will let you categorize your notes by date and name. But you do have to be an insider, and you also have to
Mhm.
be you have to test through test flight in iOS to be able to access this. I did try it; it was crashing a little bit, so it's
Mhm.
obviously got a little bit of work to do. But the cool thing is, it does also have you can reorder your notes by tapping in the ellipses in the top right corner, selecting the filter and sort option. And you can also change that view. So this is pretty cool. I'm glad to see that Microsoft is evolving OneNote. They were almost close to abandoning it and making it become a horrible app, but now they think they reversed course because a lot of people were complaining that they're going to move it to a Windows 10, Windows 11 based app and not its own standalone like it had been for so many years. Which note taking app do you use, Ben?
I use Apple Notes.
Yeah, me too.
That said, I have been with a lot of companies that have uh not so subtly uh suggested that I use OneNote. So it's definitely something I'm familiar with.
Yeah. So we're taking a look at if those of you are um, using notes, but tread with caution. You don't want to lose your notes either. Make sure it's backed up.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're a Microsoft user, it would be backed up in OneDrive. So So, and then one other thing I wanted to give is another one last tip here is how to clear your cache on your iPhone. Have you done this before? Do you actually have a problem where the cache isn't cleared out, especially in Safari? Safari gets so gooked up.
Yeah.
And the way you do that in Safari is you go into settings on either your iPhone or your iPad. Then you go to Safari and you select it, and then you click on Clear History and Website Data on your device, and a pop-up will appear. You can select Clear History and Data, and it gives you option to get that cleared out and all that junk that's in there, especially you want to everybody know any websites you've been going to is gone. So, so it does clear out the browsing histories, and for any browser, it doesn't matter what platform you're using. It's always good from time to time to clear out your cookies, clear out your history, get a clean start. You can always put your passwords in after the fact. Again, doesn't matter. Now, there is another option here if you want to clear out the cache for other apps on your iPhone or iPad. There is a possibility of doing that. If you go into settings on your device and then go to general and then iPhone storage, then you can select the app you want to delete. If you delete the app, it'll actually warn you, right, what to delete this app, and it'll completely remove the app, and it does free up some space if it's an app that you hadn't used in quite a long time. So that's one way to clear out the cache on there too. So
yeah, I definitely have offload set to unused apps.
yeah, I do too.
I don't want anything to. Yeah, it just, if you have something you don't use that often, you don't have your entire. I mean, I've literally freed up hundreds of gigabytes on my iPhone to the point where a 256 is usable for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, so that's pretty much all we got this week. Like I said, it was a pretty light week this week for news, and then I think we gave you some good tips, and gave you a little bit more information about beta. Unless anything else to add, Ben, well, we can probably go ahead and bring us to a close here. First off, before we go though, I do want to mention Max.Steven. That's like 30 days away. I can't believe it. It's crazy. And tickets are sold out right now, but you can buy a virtual ticket. They are still available. So you go to the website. We have a link there in our show notes on how to get to that. I'm actually going to be joining Mike Potter on Saturday as we're recording this coming Saturday, and because we're doing some mic testing, because whenever you do something virtual, you got to do some tests, and so I think it's a good move on his part, and I'm happy to help him out. So my topic is going to be about the iCloud, and again, demystifying what iCloud is. So it's going to be a great topic, and still finishing up my presentation. So we got a month ago, but I got it. Yeah. I've got in a good spot. Just like all presentations we do, you got to tweak things. So,
so what is it? Not Mobile Me.
No, it's not Mobile Me. No, it's not. So, oddly speaking, as well as Jeff Gamet, Brittany Smith, Chuck Joyner, Allison Sheridan, so many others. It's July 22nd, 23rd, and it is in Woodstock, Illinois. Like I said, unfortunately, there is a waiting list. If you wanted to get on the waiting list, you might get lucky. Might be a couple more tickets left. Go out to the website, max.conferenceandexpo.com. Check that out. If not, you can also join us virtually and be able to check things out. It'd be great to see everybody, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. With that, let's go ahead and wrap things up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @InTouchWithIOS, as well as on Mastodon @InTouchWithIOS. Support the show by going to buying us a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. And you also can become a Patreon of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming, which is on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Times, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios, where you can watch the live stream. We leave it on there, the past live streams, as well as you can listen to past shows right on YouTube. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discussed are flipped into the magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to our show on your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I'm Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Mastodon at DaveG65, as well as Twitter. And Ben Ray, thank you so much for being here this week. It was a blast. Where can people find you?
Well, Excuse me, Dave. You can find me at Ben Rathig on your social media of choice. Except for that newfangled blue sky thing. I haven't gotten an
I still don't want
invite.
either, so you're not alone.
Yep. You can find me at my website, rathig.tech. Uh, there's probably not going to be anything new till after the 4th of July holiday is over, but there's some good stuff up right now. You can find me Tuesday nights on Mac Voices with friend of the show, Chuck Joyner, and Thursday and Friday evenings or early afternoons on the British Tech Network Big and Mac shows.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy you made it, and we're going to wrap things up. So I really appreciate everybody listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. We enjoyed doing it, and we'll talk again next time.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Yep. No show next week.
Next week we'll have a show, but not the week after. Next week's not 4th of
Oh,
July.
oh,
Are you off? Are you busy next week?
yes.